Today's lesson is lesson 8.6, solving rational equations. Now we have the same rational equations we had before, but now we're going to learn how to solve them two different ways. The first way is called solving by cross multiplication. When you solve by cross multiplication, you're basically setting up two fractions to cross multiply. So for example number 1, we have 2 equals x plus 2 divided by x minus 3. We can write the 2 over 1 and make it a fraction. And once it's a fraction, we can cross multiply numerator times denominator, left to right, and numerator times denominator, right to left. Once we have done the cross multiplying, we can distribute, and that gives me 2x minus 6 equals x plus 2. And now I just need to solve this for x. So I'm going to write on the next page 2x minus 6, x plus 2. 2x minus 6 equals x plus 2. So we're just going to solve this for x. So from the right side I'm going to subtract x, and from the left side I'm going to subtract x. That leaves me with 1x minus 6 equals 2. Add 6 to both sides, and I get x equals 8, and x equals 8 is my solution. So the steps that I took were, number 1, cross multiply. Number 2, distribute if needed. And number 3, solve for x. Cross multiply, distribute, and solve for x. Let's try another example. This example, 2x plus 3 over 3x equals x over 2x minus 3, is already set up for cross multiplication. So I'm going to do x times 3x, and I'm going to do 2x plus 3 times 2x minus 3. So x times 3x equals 2x plus 3, which is its own group, times 2x minus 3, which is its own group. And now we're going to distribute. On the left side I have 3x squared. On the right side, my distributing is going to take the form of FOIL. So I have 2x times 2x is 4x squared. 2x times negative 3 is negative 6x. 3 times 2x is positive 6x. And 3 times negative 3 is negative 9. So combining my like terms, 3x squared equals 4x squared minus 6x plus 6x, those cancel, minus 9. Now I want to solve this for x, so I'm actually going to subtract 4x squared from both sides. That leaves me with negative 1x squared equals negative 9. So I'm going to divide by negative 1 on both sides. So going to the next page, I'm going to have x squared equals 9. And if I square root both sides to get rid of that square, my solution is x equals plus or minus 3. So my solutions are 3 and negative 3. Alright, that's cross multiplication to solve the equations. The next type we have is solving rational expressions or rational equations by lowest common denominator, which is the same thing we did in 8.5. And you may not have loved that, but we're going to use it again now to solve. For example 3, I have 3 over 2 plus 1 over x equals 1 plus 4 over x. So the first thing I'm going to do is make that 1 be 1 over 1 so that it has a denominator. Then I'm going to look at these denominators to see what my common denominator would be. And I have a 2, and I have x twice, but I'm only going to write it once, and I have a 1, which doesn't change anything because 2 times 1 is still just 2. So I'm going to write each of my denominators as 2x. Then I just need to see what do I multiply by. For 3 over 2, down in the denominator I have to multiply by x to make it be 2x. So I multiply by x in the top, so that makes it be 3x. For x, I need to multiply by 2 to make it be 2x, so I multiply this numerator by 2, and 1 times 2 is 2. For the 1, I have to multiply by 2 and x, because it doesn't have either of those. So I have to multiply the numerator by 2 and x, which makes it be 2x. And for 4 over x, I have to multiply the x by 2, so I multiply the numerator by 2, which makes it be 8. So now I have 3x over 2x plus 2 over 2x equals 2x over 2x plus 8 over 2x. And there's something really cool about solving with the least common denominator, and that is that once you have a common denominator all the way across, and you have fixed all of the numerators, you can totally drop that denominator. That means my problem now is 3x plus 2 equals 2x plus 8. 3x plus 2 equals 2x plus 8. I'm going to go back and look really quick, make sure I wrote it correctly. Now, much easier problem. The denominator's totally gone. All I have to do now is solve for x. So I subtract 2x on both sides. X plus 2 equals 8. Subtract 2, x equals 6. And there's your solution. So getting the least common denominator may not be much fun, but once you have it, it's not a small problem. It's not a difficult problem to solve. Alright, so your steps were find the least common denominator first, fix your numerators, and then solve. Oh wait, no, we don't solve. The third step is to drop your denominator. And the fourth step would be to solve. Okay? So let's try another example. Example 4, 4 over x minus 3 plus 2 over x plus 3 equals 2x plus 2 over x squared minus 9. Now, if you recall from finding the least common denominator, you have to make sure everything's factored before you can find the least common denominator. So x squared minus 9, we have to factor that. Then we can look at each denominator and determine what's common and what's not common. So I have x minus 3 in two different places, so I'm just going to write it once. I have x plus 3 in two different places, so I'm just going to write it once. And then that's the denominator for all of the parts of my problem. And I can, running out of space there, I can just fix my numerators now. So for x minus 3, we just multiplied by x plus 3. So multiply 4 by x, that's an x, plus 3. So 4 times x plus 3. For the 2 over x plus 3, we need to multiply that by x minus 3. So multiply your numerator by x minus 3. 2 times x minus 3. For 2x plus 2 over x squared minus 9, this denominator is the same denominator that I'm getting, and so 2x plus 2 is the same. It doesn't get changed. Alright, so now we have the least common denominator. What do we get to do with this denominator? We get to totally, completely drop it. What does it leave my problem to be? 4 times x plus 3 plus 2 times x minus 3 equals 2x plus 2. A much easier problem. There's no denominators. So into the next step, I want to distribute my 4 and my 2. So that should give me 4x plus 12 plus 2x minus 6 equals 2x plus 2. And I'm going to combine my like terms. So I should have 6x plus 6 equals 2x plus 2. 6x plus 6 equals 2x plus 2. And again, I'm going to go back, make sure that I didn't miss anything. 4x plus 2x is 6x. 12 minus 6 is 6 equals 2x plus 2. So we're okay. And I'm going to finish this out by solving. Actually, erase that. I'm going to finish this out by solving for x. So I'm going to subtract 2x from both sides, which makes 4x plus 6 equals 2. Subtract 6 from both sides, which makes 4x equal negative 4. Divide by 4, and x equals negative 1 is my solution. So once you get rid of that denominator, it is a much easier problem. Okay, so your assignment is page 130, problems 1 through 12 all. And I do have a few hints for you again on this assignment. The first hint I have for you is on problem number 17, and it's basically two parts. When you are trying to find the least common denominator for this problem, you have to factor 4x squared minus 1. So I want to make sure that everyone knows 4x squared minus 1 is 2x plus 1 times 2x minus 1. The second thing I want to make sure that you know is that x squared plus 20 does not factor. So it's still going to say x squared plus 20. From this step here, you have to get your least common denominator using the same method we did before. So I just want you to know those two things. How to factor 4x squared minus 1, and also that x squared plus 20 does not factor. Number 14, I want to use this hint to show you a little bit different way. If you're not interested in a different way to solve this, because it only works on certain problems, if you're not interested, then go ahead and stop the video and don't even watch this. But if you are interested in what else we possibly could do to make this a little bit simpler, look at this problem on 14 and notice that I have, in two separate places, I have a common denominator of x minus 3. If I could get my x minus 3 denominators together, then that's a lot easier problem to solve. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract this whole part to the other side. What's that going to give me? Negative 4 equals 2 over x minus 3 minus 6 over x minus 3. Well, if these already have the same denominator, then subtracting 2 over x minus 3 minus 6 over x minus 3 is negative 4 over x minus 3. And from here, that sets up a problem to be able to do cross multiplication. So I'll take the negative 4 and I put it over 1 so that I can cross multiply. So that's the hint for number 14. Anytime you have separate parts that could be combined if they were on the same side of the problem, you can add or subtract a part to the other side. Let me know if you have any questions.